If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and another tutorial. Today I'm super happy to sew along with you the Bartleby Sling by Unikatz patterns. Thank you so much, Katarina, for allowing me to do this tutorial. This is my first Unikatz pattern that I have ever made, and I tell you, this does not disappoint. I actually made one of these for my mom for our Alaskan cruise, and it was perfection for hands-free on the ship or when we went whale watching, and didn't have to worry about it at all. Let me show you some of the amazing features of this bag. So this is pockets galore. You got a small one, a medium one, and a large one. I just love this little one. It's super unique, and I just love how it comes together. It's just, love it, love it, love it. But it's perfect for holding like a lipstick or your bank card or anything, or your keys, anything that you need quick and easy access to. So many ways you can wear it. Oh, I guess I should show you the inside. On the inside, it is a bound finish, but it is nice, and it's actually very roomy for a small bag. So got a large slip pocket there, but of course you can make the inside whatever you want it to be. It is a left or a right sling, depending what your preference is. You could wear it just as a shoulder bag if you wanted to. You could sling it onto your front, which is actually my favorite way of wearing a sling bag, because then I have all my stuff right here and I don't have to worry about somebody pickpocketing me in the back. Or you can sling it onto your back and wear it like a little backpack. It is great for all genders. It is a great unisex bag. I just absolutely love it. It is a fast sew. I would say about 3 or 4 hours. That's about what it took me for my second bag. So it goes really, really fast. It is not hard at all. It's completely domestic machine friendly, as long as you choose materials that you know that your machine can handle. I am on industrial machines, so I can pretty much sew through anything. That's why I chose vinyl and waterproof canvas. So this vinyl is one of the Patina vinyls. I cannot remember what the brown color of this is called, but it is the Patina vinyl from Galaxy Customs. It's kind of got like a distressed look to it. And my lining is the new linen waterproof canvas. I love this stuff from Galaxy Customs. It is my favorite bag lining of all time. You don't have to interface it. It's got a black PVC backing on the back, I think it's what it's called, but it's completely domestic machine friendly. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. It's perfection. I also used it as my binding in this bag because it is a bound bag. All my hardware and my strapping here is from Emmeline Bags, except for my zipper pulls. I actually order my own from overseas. For that, I buy them a bulk just because I go through so many. But my zippers, and actually my zippers might be from Blue Cala. I get my zipper tape from Blue Cala and from Emmeline Bags. I just can never remember which one. So yeah, interfacing in this bag, it calls for like a duckable light type thing. I chose to go with Bouncy Firm. I get that from Serial Bag Makers. I want to say it's in Portugal, but I don't know if that's right. It's overseas, but it's like if Decibel Light and foam had a baby, it would be Bouncy Firm. I just love it, especially in the slings. What I love most about it is once it's fused on, I find when you turn things out, like I have no wrinkles. It does not pull away like Decibel Light, so that's why I usually choose to use that. What else? Did I change anything? No, I did not change anything in this pattern. I did it as per the pattern, I think. Yeah. Oh, the only thing I changed was I added in this little thing here. It's just a little to cover up the end of the strapping rather than folding it over and under. I just like to put a little piece of vinyl in there to enclose that end. I think it just adds a nice little added touch to that. So that's the only thing I did different. I show you how I do that in this video. Again, if at any time you do like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Shoot me a comment. You can support the channel more by buying me a coffee. That's linked down below. All of that money goes back into channel to make things, to keep buying stuff to make the videos better and better. Anyways, enough chatter. How about we get to making this bag?
You're going to need some number 5 zipper tape, a webbing, binding, 6 zipper pulls, 2 D-rings, a slider, a swivel, and I'm adding in this little piece of vinyl for a strap decorative accent. You're also going to need some rivets and your nameplate. Okay, so you're going to need pattern piece A, main panel, 2 lining, 1 exterior. You're going to need your 2 zipper pocket connector pieces. One is lining, one is exterior. Your bottom gusset pieces, lining and exterior. Your 4 zipper gusset panels, 2 exterior, 2 lining. Your small zipper pocket panel piece. Your medium zippered pocket panel piece, number 2. Your small side panel, number 3. Large zippered panel, number 4. Large side panel, number 5. And your top zippered pocket panel, number 6. Small zipper pocket lining, pattern piece E. Medium zipper pocket lining, pattern piece F. And your large one, pattern piece G. And your slip pocket pieces, as well as your slip pocket trim and your back connector strip. So we're going to start with our strap here. Now this is that little vinyl piece I'm adding in, and I've put a 1-inch mark up from one of the shorter sides. And from that mark on the wrong side, I'm going to put some double-sided tape on one end and one along the middle line. I've also edge painted this. I'm going to take the raw edges of my webbing and I'm just going to burn them with a lighter just to get rid of the little fray pieces. Take one raw edge, put it right up to that line, and then fold over the other side, sticking it down with the double-sided tape nice and even like so. It just adds a nice little finish to this end rather than having to fold it under or whatever. We're then going to take this end and slip it up and over the center bar of our slider, and we're going to go ahead and sew a little box right around here. While off camera, I went and put it in a decorative rivet in there as well, and it looks so great. So I'm going to place this wrong side up, like so. So you can see it's not the part with the little strap accent on. I'm going to put my swivel on like this, bring the other raw edge up and over that center bar, and that is our strap all ready to go for later. Now we're going to start with our small zippered pocket. So we have our lining piece and our exterior piece. Now you want to take into account, when this is wrong side up, that the curvy part of the stabilizer is to the left. So when we put it right side up, it is now on the right. We're going to take some zipper and we're going to cut it slightly longer by 1 inch or so than the top of that pattern piece. I'm going to just draw a 1-inch line on the back of my zipper tape here to help me put my zipper pull on straight later on. Now this is right side up, again making sure that curvy corner piece is on the right hand side of that interfacing piece. Put some double-sided tape or a clip here, or clips here, whichever you prefer. Left hand side, line up the zipper tape right up to that left hand side. These are right sides together. Now we're going to take our lining piece. We're going to put some double-sided tape on the top and bottom short ends. And then we're going to put this right sides together with that exterior piece, sandwiching the zipper tape. So you're going to make sure you're lining up that left hand side nice and even again, sticking or clipping it all the way across. And then you're going to go ahead and sew across this with the seam allowance that's in the pattern, flip these wrong sides together, and then top stitch through the bottom there. This is what that looks like all done. Now what we want to do is take our number 2 piece here, make sure it's orientated properly. Along the bottom of that, we're going to take some double-sided tape. Again, you can use clips if you prefer. Okay, and we are going to go ahead and we are going to put this right sides together with the unsewn side of that zipper tape, lining up that left-hand side. Then you're going to flip this lining side up, and we're going to bring that bottom edge that we have tape on already up like so to that top unsewn side of the zipper tape, nice and even with that side and making sure it lines up with our exterior. So across here with the seam allowance and the pattern, and we're going to push the seam up towards that pattern piece too and top stitch through the top. That's that all complete. Now we're going to take the piece that we have marked as number 3. We're going to set it along the left-hand side here. On the left-hand side, we're going to put some double-sided tape, or again, clips. Whenever I say double-sided tape, you can definitely use clips if you prefer. And then we're going to place these right sides together. We're going to sew that with the seam allowance that's in the pattern, press the seam towards that side panel, and then top stitch through the side panel. That all done, you'll see it has sealed up one side. Now we're going to kind of do rinse and repeat. So we are going to do the medium pocket now. I'm starting with putting my double-sided tape on the top and bottom of the lining piece. I'm going to cut my tape an inch longer than our main panel that we have started. And just like we did before, I am putting a 1-inch line on this side here just so I can put my zipper pull on nice and straight later. And we're just doing exactly like we did for that first pocket piece. We're putting some double-sided tape along the top. We're going to put our zipper tape right sides together, sticking it up along there as well, lining up that left-hand side. With the overhang on the right, take your lining piece, line it up along the left side, right sides together, sandwiching that zipper tape. And we're going to go ahead and sew across this with the seam allowance and the pattern, bring it wrong sides together, and then we're going to top stitch through the seam. So sew here, wrong sides together, and then top stitch through here. That is pocket number 2 almost complete. So we're going to do exactly like we did before. We are going to bring the bottom of the lining up to the top of the unsewn side of the zipper tape, making sure everything lines up. Then we're going to take pattern piece number 4. We're going to put some tape along the bottom, put this right sides together along the unsewn side of that zipper tape, lining up that left-hand side. Sew across that with the seam allowance and the pattern, press the seam up towards the number 4 pattern piece and top stitch through that piece there. There we go. Now we're going to take the side piece here, and just like we did with the first one, we're going to go ahead. This is the number 5 side piece, and we're going to put some double-sided tape here, put it right sides together, sew with the seam allowance in the pattern. Now this is the one where you got to make sure you know where the curvy part of that stabilizer is. So sew through there and then top stitch through the side. So that is complete there. Now we're going to do the large pocket. Again, it's all rinse and repeat. I trimmed off just a little bit there. I had a little bit too much overhang, probably just bad cutting on my part. Once again, double-sided tape. Measure out your zipper tape to about 1 inch longer. Draw your lines on the back so you can put your zipper pull on nice and straight. Put these right sides together. Oops, I'm almost doing it wrong here. There we go. Right sides together. Take your large zipper pocket lining. Once again, put double-sided tape on the top and bottom edges. Put this right sides together with the main panel we're working on, lining up one of those sides with the unsewn side of that zipper tape. Sew across that with the seam allowance in the pattern, bring them wrong sides together, and then top stitch through there. That is the large pocket done there. We're going to, well, almost done. We're going to take the tape off the bottom, fold it up to that unsewn side of the zipper, stick it in place. Flip it back over. Now we're going to use piece number 6, and you're going to make sure that the curvy parts of the stabilizer are at the top. Very important. Put some tape along the bottom, just like we did before. Put this right sides together along that unsewn side of the large pocket zipper tape. Sew through that with the seam allowance in the pattern. Press the seam up towards the top and top stitch through the number 6 piece. That is all complete there. I've already gone ahead and put on my 3 zipper pulls. Now we're going to close up these pockets. So you're going to kind of hold all the pockets away from each other and draw some lines as per the pattern on just the pocket lining pieces so we can close up that one side and create a little less bulk for us later. So along those lines, you're going to go ahead and you are going to sew just through each of the pocket pieces separate, folding the exterior and the other pocket pieces up and out of the way, making sure you're not sewing through the zipper. You're kind of just below the zipper, making sure the zipper tape is sitting nice and flat. Sew down that angle, and then straight down. Again, all of the measurements are in the pattern. Continue for the other 2 pocket pieces. Once that is done, you can go ahead and trim up those seams to about 1/8 of an inch away from our stitching for all 3 pockets. Next, we're going to grab our pattern piece A and we're going to line it against our finished main panel here, and I'm going to use some clips just to hold it in place. And you are going to trace out the shape of the pattern piece, so mainly just in the corners. You should fit well from side left to right and top to bottom. It's just the corners. So go ahead and trace out those corners. This pen for some reason did not want to work on this vinyl, so I do switch to chalk here momentarily. And then once you have those all traced out, you can go ahead and trim up the zipper tape as well as trim around those corners to get the shape of our front panel. Once done, all of our panels should be the same size, our back panel and our two lining panels. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to notch the marks as per the pattern piece as well, which will help us when we go to put the gusset on. So I'm going to use my little notching tool here that I got from Amazon and just notch in my marks as per the pattern, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the back exterior piece as well. Once that's all done, I've gone ahead and I put my nameplate and made sure I didn't make it go through the pockets, just through the exterior. We're going to take the front lining panel and the main panel, put them wrong sides together, line them up, and clip all the way around. We're going to work on the funnest part of the pattern. I love how this pocket comes together. So this is the zippered connector, pocket connector. So I've already done my markings on the wrong side of the lining as per the pattern. Now on these little notches on either side of this on the wrong side, I'm going to put little pieces of double-sided tape. And then what you're going to do is fold that up to the mark, and it's going to kind of close off that triangle. Now these triangles will be different sizes, and that is okay. So just kind of fold that up like so. This is just so much fun. I love this. Now you're going to take the exterior piece, right side up, and along the left-hand side, we are going to put some double-sided tape. Again, you can use clips here if you prefer. And we're going to take a piece of zipper tape that is longer. We want it to overlap. It just gives us a little more wiggle room when we go to put on our pull. We're going to put this right sides together, somewhat centered along that tape, like so. Then we're going to take the lining piece, which is mirrored. So it kind of looks like this. Make sure you're lining up the right side. And on the right side of that, you're going to put some double-sided tape. And then you're going to line this up from the top all the way down, not from that corner that was folded under, but from the top, because this piece is now going to be shorter than the exterior piece. So definitely go top to bottom, like so, sandwiching that tape right sides together. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to sew across here with the seam allowance in the pattern, bring these wrong sides together, and then top stitch through all the layers. That's what that looks like all done. Now the scary part, pull the zipper tape apart like so, open this up like it's a bat, and then along the right hand side, right here, top of the exterior, we're going to put more double-sided tape or clips. You're going to take your zipper tape that you just pulled off and put it right sides together, somewhat centered along that tape. And then on the lining side, we're going to put tape along at the top here. Again, make sure your corners that we stuck down stay stuck down. And then you're going to bring this over, matching up the top corners and sandwiching that zipper tape, lining it all up. And again, the lining will be slightly shorter than the exterior because we have that folded up corner. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to sew through that with the seam allowance in the pattern. Now that that's all done, what I'm going to do is just put some double-sided tape along that seam. It's just going to help us press that seam away from the zipper teeth easier. Once you have that on, go ahead and turn this right side out. Once it's right side out, you can take the paper backing off and you can kind of pull the zipper in a way so you can press that lining really, really tight away from the zipper teeth. And then once that's done, go ahead and do the same with the exterior. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to top stitch across there. So that's what that looks like. Go ahead and flip this so the lining is right side up, and along that right hand side you're going to fold in right at those corners. I'm going to hold it with some clips here like so. Line up right where those corners are and fold it. And then you're going to bring the zipper teeth together, still kind of folding at the corners. You'll see them there like so. Use some clips to hold it if it's being a little stubborn. Line up our zipper teeth. And then you're going to go ahead and you are going to put your zipper pull on. Now you're going to pull your pull all the way on to close up all of the teeth, and then pull it off, and then you can put it back on so you have a closed in end on either side with the zipper pull in the middle. So put it on all the way off and then put it on again so you have something that looks like this. Now you want to go ahead and you want to pull the lining out to bring out the lining and the exterior inside out. And remember those lines that we had drawn on the bottom of the lining piece? We want to go and put some double-sided tape below that line on just the lining piece. Not on the zipper tape, just on the lining. So just below the zipper tape. Then you're going to fold the raw edge up to that line and secure it with the double-sided tape. Did I say zipper tape? I meant to say double-sided tape. You know what I mean. Fold it up. And what this is doing is it's closing up the bottom of the zipper pocket lining. Next, what we want to do is we want to sew this shut. So top stitch this shut. You're not going to sew through the zipper. You are going to start at the zipper, and you're going to sew right to the end here, keeping the exterior and the zipper out of the way. So from here all the way to the other end. Now that's closed up that pocket. Now what we're going to do is you'll see at the very top here where the zipper is hanging out, you're going to trim it up with the amount of hangover as per the pattern, like so. Now through the exterior part, you're going to take the unsewn or the raw edge of the strap. We're going to put these right sides together with the exterior, and you're going to bring it through that opening in the top, leaving some of it hanging over as per the pattern. Make sure it is nice and straight. This should fit in here perfectly. Again, these are right sides together. Once that's in there, go ahead and kind of squish the lining and all that together and hold with clips. They should fit perfectly. Then you're going to go ahead and sew across here with the seam allowance, and then another line an eighth of a way within the seam allowance from that first seam. Once that is complete, you're going to gently tug on the strap, bringing this right side out. It should come very, very easily. Poke out those corners if you need to. When I pulled this, the corners came out perfect. And you'll make sure the lining is kind of up and out of the way. You don't want it to be caught in the bottom seam. But that looks pretty good. Lining is out of the way. I'm going to trim up my zipper tape here, and I'm going to go ahead and just baste closed the very bottom with an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Next, we're going to work on our back panel. So we're going to start with our back connectors. I've drawn a center line along the back. I'm going to take some double-sided tape and put it down that center line. I'm using 1/2 inch double-sided tape here. And I'm going to fold the long edges into that center line. Next, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark on the back as well as the front as per the pattern. I put on the wrong side, I have put some double-sided tape in between the two center lines, and I'm going to center this on the back panel at the measurement up that is in the pattern. I've drawn a line there, stick her down, and then we're going to go ahead and we are going to top stitch, once you know it's straight, top stitch all the way around here. I'm also going to pull my threads long and tie them off in the back. If you don't do that, make sure you backstitch well. Okay, that is all done. Now what you're going to do is take little pieces of double-sided tape and put them on the wrong side of those connectors just at the very ends there. You're going to take a D-ring and slide it down to the stitching, and then using the tape to line up the raw edges of the back panel and the strap like so, securing in place like that. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to top stitch up to that other line that we drew and back down the other, creating a little box. That is all done. I've already gone ahead and put in my rivets backed with pieces of scrap deckable heavy as per the pattern placement. Now you're going to take your strap connector right side up and your, well, not your strap, this thing here, right side up, and your bottom panel right side up, both of them right side up, and we're going to go ahead and baste this in place. Now I've already gone ahead and done my slip pocket with accent. If you need a class on how to do that, it's down below in the description. Now we're going to take the back panel and the lining back panel, place them wrong sides together, and we're going to baste them all around. Now make sure you have these orientated properly. You do not want to have an upside down pocket. Now we're on to the zipper panel and gusset. So I got my zipper gusset panel pieces. Now I always cut my zipper longer because I like to be able to push my zipper pulls out of the way while I'm working. So I'm going to take one of my lining pieces and along one long edge, I'm going to use some double-sided tape. Again, you can use clips if you prefer. And for one exterior piece, I'm going to do the same along one of the long edges. Next, I'm going to take my lining piece right side up and my zipper right side up, and I am going to stick my zipper along it like this with some overhang on both sides. I'm going to put a clip at the end of my zipper on the right hand side, and I'm going to pull my pulls all the way to that clip so they are out of the way while I'm sewing. I'm now going to take my exterior piece, I'm going to line it up right sides together with the zipper like so. Put it in place all the way across, sew across here at the seam allowance in the pattern, and bring these wrong sides together and then top stitch through all the layers. If you have both zipper panels done, pull your zipper pulls into the center of that. You can go ahead and you can trim up your excess zipper tape. Next, we're going to take our bottom gusset pieces, and I'm going to take my exterior pieces first, bring them right sides together. Now, if we have our seam allowances correct, they should be almost the exact same size. Mine are off by about 1/8 of an inch, but it's pretty good. I can go with that. Clip those in place like that, flip it over so the lining side is up, and then put the lining right sides together with the lining piece, adding it into the clips. Sew through that, all those layers with the seam allowance that is in the pattern, and then you're going to bring those bottom gusset pieces wrong sides together and top stitch through the bottom gusset pieces. Next, we're going to undo the zipper, making sure the zipper pulls don't fall off. We're going to bring the other side of the exterior with right sides together with the opposite side exterior of the zipper panel. Flip it around and do the same with the lining. So now we kind of got two loop-de-loops happening. Go ahead and sew through this with the seam allowance in the pattern. Once that is done, what we want to do is flip these wrong sides together so we end up with one big loop. You're going to pull it nice and tight, and you are going to clip the raw edges together. Now, we haven't top stitched that seam we just did. We will be doing that momentarily. Just go ahead and get everything nice and lined up and secure with clips, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to baste the long edges, and we are going to top stitch along the short edge that we need to top stitch still. This should fit perfectly, which mine does. So to start my basting, I'm going to start where my top stitching was at the other side, and then go across the top stitch short side, and then baste along the long side again. You can do these in 3 separate swoops if you want to. I just like to do them all in one go so I don't have to cut my thread too much. Next, we need to find our top and bottom centers of this. You're going to line up these seams where our gussets meet, and then you're going to pull them nice and taut down like so, and you're going to notch or mark them. So I like to use my handy dandy notching tool here. You're going to do that on both sides of the bottom and both sides of the top. Now we're going to grab our front panel. We've already done our markings, our notches, so we can line them up. I'm just going to make sure I can see them. So first we're going to match up our right sides together, our top center, and secure it with 2 or 3 clips. Our bottom centers. And then our side notches, we are going to line up with where our gussets meet. So those seams will line up with those side notches we made. It's easiest to mark the quarter sections like this or secure them first, and then you can ease the fabric around each quarter section. So start working down each quarter section. You will find that when you get down to the corners, it may look like the gusset does not want to go around. That's because we're trying to make a rectangular piece around. So to help with that, we're going to go ahead and put little 1/8 of an inch notches just in the gusset, and that's going to help spread that fabric around that corner. Use lots of clips to hold that in place, and you're going to continue for all the other 3 corners. Next, we're going to go ahead and we are going to sew around all of this with the seam allowance that's in the pattern. Now you may need to use a stiletto. It may also help to put on a narrow foot or a zipper foot. I am using a narrow foot because then I don't have to change into a zipper foot. It is amazing, but go ahead and sew all the way around. Is one side done. You kind of gotta look on the inside. It looks good. If you had little bits of slips like I did here on the corners, just go ahead and trim that up. I may be like 1/8 of an inch out, which is okay. You're going to do the exact same thing with the back panel. Put the strap inside like so, match up your quarter sections, get it eased all the way around those corners, and then sew all the way around the back side. So this is the back panel sewn on. Again, I'm just going to trim up everywhere I slipped. I always slip on the corners, but it never really makes a difference. It's just very, very slight. It's all good. Binding is so forgiving this way. Just going to double check that everything was caught. And it was. We're good to go. So I'm doing my binding different. I'm doing a waterproof canvas binding. I do have a class down below on how to do bias tape binding as per the pattern if you prefer to do that. But I like how my my binding matches my waterproof canvas. So I'll give you a quick lesson on how to do this. I do have a class on how to do this down below as well. So with my waterproof canvas binding, so you can only do this with a non-fraying fabric because this is a raw edge binding. I take some 1/2 inch double-sided tape and I put it down the center of my binding. And then I'm just going to fold in the short ends of my binding by 1/4 of an inch or so and secure it to the tape. And that's just going to give a nice finished edge for that on both sides. And then I'm going to line up the center middle of my binding. I like to start at the bottom. And I'm going to fold it over evenly over the seam. I kind of put it just right on my stitching line there. Fold it over the seam and then also secure that with clips as well. Just because sometimes the tape doesn't want to hold it as security as I like. So it's like a double security feature. Fold it over nice and even because you do want to be catching both sides of this when you go and sew this on. This is what's different. And then bias tape is bias tape. You sew one side on, you sew the other side on. This, you're doing it all in one go. So kind of ease it around all of the corners, all the way around. Once you have the binding secured all the way around, you're going to go and sew this in place with a slightly larger stitch length so you don't perforate your vinyl. I'm just putting it up to a 5.5 rather than the 4.5 I was using. And I'm going to sew along the raw edge of my binding with 1/8 of an inch. Now you can see I have my main panel along the flat the bed of my machine. That works well. If you are on a cylinder arm or a free arm, I would do it the opposite way. So it is the main panel is right side up and it's super easy to do. This is actually a lot easier to do on a cylinder arm or a free arm. I just did not want to change my thread out to my machine, so I'm doing it this way. Go ahead, go all the way around, and then you're going to do the exact same thing with the other side. This is both sides bound. She looks great. It was caught everywhere. Now it's time to go ahead and turn this out. Now this wasn't too hard to turn out. I have pretty bad carpal tunnel, so it took me probably a little longer than most people, but you just kind of massage it and push it through. Make sure you are not pulling too hard. You don't want to accidentally rip anything. Just kind of massage it, push it through. This is what I love about this Bouncy Firm, is it does not come unstuck when you do this. So you don't end up with the wrinkles and stuff you do sometimes with Deckable Light. I just love the Bouncy Firm by Serial Bag Makers. So go ahead, push it all the way through. Once you get it through, you're going to go ahead and kind of push the bound edges on the inside outwards so you can get a nice crisp seam. So you'll see me here, I'm kind of running my finger along that binding and using it to push that seam out. As I'm going around, just making sure everything was caught and I have no raw edges, everything was perfect. Push out all of that seam to shape it. Get those corners out really good. Now I did have a couple puckers in my corners, but you know what? They were exactly the same in each corner, so they were uniform and looked on purpose, so I'm happy with that. That's a happy mistake. Push it all out, and you know what, guys? That is everything. You are completely done. There's your inside, all of your pockets. This bag is very, very quick. I'd say about a 3 hour or so cut to finish, maybe 4 if you're dawdling. Yeah, so easy. This is the second one I've ever made, and I just love it. It will not be my last. You can sling it from left to right. And we're done.
All right, that's it. That's all. What'd you think of that? Pretty fast. I did forget to mention that we do have a sew along class on the membership side of the channel for October 2025. We just finished that up. So if you wanted a real-time slowed down making this bag, you could definitely check out the membership side. It's a month-to-month subscription. You could just sign on for 1 month if you wanted to or not. And it just gives it in real time rather than like this video, which is kind of a sped up version just to give you an idea of how the bag goes together. But if you want a slowed down real-time one, that is an option too. I'll try to remember it at the tags at the end. Today is Halloween. So if you made it all the way to the end, give me a Halloween type emoji, like a ghost or a pumpkin or whatever, just so I know you made it to the end. And again, thank you so much everybody for watching, especially this past year. You know, it's been a tough year for me, and I'm just so thankful for all of you for hanging in there with me and supporting me in everything I do. And again, thank you. Go get this pattern, all linked down below. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye.